Just one moment.
Do you want...
Even more.
Obviously!
See, I'm Breed. I want everything you can think of.
Then I propose a deal.
Equivalent exchange! Huh? I'll give you...
More.
Awesome!
Videos.
If you...
Please.
Like.
Comment.
Subscribe. Sorry about that interruption.
We're off! Let's hit the road!
I want to say something about this. Okay. I have a theory that Lelouch didn't actually lose here, and this is why, okay? As far as Cornelia knows, Lelouch is dead. So if he was to, let's say he opened the cockpit, right? Well, he has to, he's going to. And he says, I'm Lelouch v. Britannia, and Cornelia's like, really? My brother's still alive? She would probably want to talk to him one-on-one. Maybe there'd be people in there too. Doesn't really matter. The point is, Lelouch was not going to die. I don't think Cornelia would have killed him, especially knowing that Cornelia was close to Marion and probably just like Jeremiah feels bad about her death. I mean, she looked into the whole situation with the murder, right? According to Euphemia, she investigated the whole thing, found nothing. She was surprised. So she would have gotten Lelouch to come into the G1 base, and they would have talked it out. He could use his Geass on her, everyone in the room. He would have escaped because they don't know about his Geass power. They don't even know he's Zero. He could say, I'm working under Zero. I'm not actually Zero. They don't know anything about him. She can make all the assumptions, but there's no actual proof of who he is or what he's doing. If he used that to his advantage, he actually could have been discovered by in the troops, talked to Cornelia, and who knows what would have happened. I know that he would have had to expose himself, but technically it wasn't his goal to be in front of Cornelia, so wouldn't that have worked? Now, granted, maybe they would have put him in jail, and so he never got a FaceTime with Cornelia, or maybe they would have killed him on the spot. I'm not sure that'd be the case. I just find it interesting that he was going to be caught by Cornelia. I'm sure, especially now we know he's not. I mean, he's not wearing the Zero outfit, right? So even if he came out of the cockpit, he'd be wearing a normal. He was wearing a normal armor. So there's no proof he was Zero, and maybe he could see he was working under him or something, and she could she could talk to him one-on-one. So I don't think he was completely screwed here, which is why he might have been willing to come out of the cockpit before C2 came out of there and obviously saved his bacon. Because he seemed pretty, somewhat calm, because they said, open the cockpit. He's like, okay, it was damaged. And then he said, okay, we'll open it for you. He goes, all right, fine. And then, C2 came and saved the day. So I personally think that he could have actually still won this, because his only goal is to climb the ladder with the Geass power. So if he can convince Cornelia with it, or not convince, command her to get him to the next stage, eventually he would accomplish his goals. It would have been kind of weird. It's not how he planned it out, but I don't think he was entirely screwed, because he has Geass power. Yes, he can't use it on Nightmare frames, but Cornelia was probably going to talk to him one-on-one. So if that was the case, I think you have a good shot to use the Geass power on her. Just a interesting theory I had about this whole situation. All right, so we get to this famous part. After Lelouch wakes up, he is in bed. Now, if you look very closely, I'm going to zoom in as much as I can. There's a piece of green over here. That's C2. So they were sharing a bed this whole time. And the reason why it's important is because, it's not really important, but the reason why it's significant to me anyways, is that in episode 5, when C2 is talking to Lelouch about, moving in with him, she says right here, a gentleman would sleep on the floor. But it turns out that that never happened, because they actually share the same bed. Just kind of funny how C2 was being kind of a mean person to Lelouch, but deep down, I guess, she realized that he needs to be up. He needs energy. Let the man sleep in his bed. You're kind of the intruder. So, and of course, some people joke. I'm not going to go this direction, but some people joke there was more than just sleeping together. I don't know about that. Did we learn why Shirley loves Lelouch, or at least has a thing for him? I'm not sure if it's real love or not, but she explains how there was a car accident and Lelouch helped out, even though he didn't really want credit for it. He just did it because he was bored, apparently, which makes sense, because Lelouch didn't think living was mattered. What I find interesting, though, is that she says that when she first met him, she didn't like him that much, but then in freshman year, she changed her mind. So I had this opinion that once Lelouch and Nelly got new identities, Lelouch must have went to some kind of, I guess, elementary school with Shirley. They must have known each other since they were little kids. I'm going to assume because Lelouch, he was like 7 when he went to Japan. And shortly afterwards, Genbu was killed and Lelouch was declared dead. So I guess he went to an elementary school and he met Shirley there because she's acting as if he's known her or she's known him way before high school. Unless I'm mishearing what she was, unless I'm not interpreting that correctly. But I got the impression they went to elementary school together. Millie, no, because there's actually a picture drama, no, audio drama where he meets Millie for the first time. But the way Shirley was talking about Lelouch, it had been before high school because why would you say freshman year I changed my opinion about him, but then say when I first met him I didn't like him? Unless you argue that first day of freshman year, but then later on in freshman year I changed my mind. That could also be the case. Either way, Shirley's known Lelouch for a very long time. Actually, everyone has at this point. Episode 8 is really good. It's probably one of my favorites in the show, without a doubt. It's called The Black Knights, by the way. And the entire premise is basically how Lelouch saves everyone off the hostage rescue. That's like the main crux of the episode. And after that, the Black Knights are formed, and it's one of the most epic scenes in the entire story. It's unfortunate, though, because Lelouch talked about certain principles that he had, and he immediately goes against them in episode 10. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Next week, actually. All right, so the episode starts out with a really good scene. I think one of the better scenes in the story, which is, again, why I love this episode so much. You see a bunch of Japanese people in the ghettos. They look god-awful, okay? I mean, these people, they haven't eaten in days. Their housing is garbage, haven't bathed. This woman here is, like, clinging on to life. And then a second later, you see this nice train. You see 3 high school girls talking about traveling to this place they've never been to before, which for everyone else is a living hell. And for them, it's like a tourist attraction. And they're talking about like which boys they're in love with. Meanwhile, everyone here is suffering to death. So it's a really good scene. And if you want like one summation about like what's going on in Britannia and why Lelouch is doing what he's doing and why Colin also is fighting, this one scene summarizes the entire problem. And it's just fantastic. It's good storytelling. They're not saying anything, but behind the scenes, you clearly can tell what the point of this is, and it's a great scene. Also, it's funny seeing Shirley and Millie talk about what guys they fall in love with, I guess. And we also learned too that like Nina has like issue with the 11s. She's terrified of them. Some say that apparently in this scene, she revealed, without revealing, that she had some past history with 11s, like abuse, attack. I don't know. That's what she's scared of them, apparently. There's no proof of this, but that's apparently what people say. So there is that.